Good Thursday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Conversation Daily News. Glad you all could be with us. Well, we made it over the hump, and we're in the home stretch toward the weekend. And also, welcome to the month of December. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this Thursday. We have a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. And in today's Entertainment Spotlight, you'll be part of my conversation with Omegia Keeys. She's a filmmaker, an actor, an author, and podcast host. We're going to talk to her about her year and so much more. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with their Thursday headlines. In national news, House votes to avert rail strike, impose deal on unions. The U.S. House moved urgently to head off the looming nationwide rail strike on Wednesday, passing a bill that would bind companies and workers to a proposed settlement that was reached in September, but rejected by some of the 12 unions involved. The measure passed by a vote of 290 to 137 and now heads to the Senate. If approved there, it will be signed by President Joe Biden, who urged the Senate to act swiftly. Without the certainty of a final vote to avoid a shutdown this week, railroads will begin to halt the movement of critical materials like chemicals to clean our drinking water as soon as this weekend, Biden said. Let me say that again. Without action this week, disruptions to our auto supply chains, our ability to move food to tables, and our abilities to remove hazardous waste from gasoline refineries will begin. Business groups, including the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and American Farm Bureau Federation, have warned that halting rail service would cause a devastating $2 billion per day hit to the economy. The bill would impose a compromise labor agreement brokered by the Biden administration that was ultimately voted down by 4 of the 12 unions, representing roughly 115,000 employees at large freight railroads. The unions have threatened to strike if an agreement can't be reached before a December 9th deadline. Lawmakers from both parties expressed reservations about overriding the negotiations, and the intervention was particularly difficult for Democratic lawmakers who have traditionally sought to align themselves with the politically powerful labor unions that criticized Biden's move to intervene in the contract dispute and block a strike. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi responded to that concern by adding a second vote Wednesday that would add 7 days of paid sick leave per year for rail workers covered under the agreement. However, it will only take effect if the Senate goes along and passes both measures. The House passed the sick leave measure as well, but by a much narrower margin, 221 to 207, as Republicans overwhelmingly opposed it, indicating that prospects for passage in the add-on are slim in the evenly divided Senate. Business groups and the Association of American Railroads Trade Association praised the House vote to block the strike, but urged senators to resist adding sick time to the deal. In more national news, Jeffries wins historic bid to lead House Democrats after Pelosi. House Democrats ushered in a new generation of leaders on Wednesday, with Representative Hakeem Jeffries elected to be the first Black American to head a major political party in Congress at a pivotal time, as long-serving Speaker Nancy Pelosi and her team step aside next year. Showing rare party unity after their midterm election losses, the House Democrats moved seamlessly from one historic-making leader to another, choosing the 52-year-old New Yorker who vowed to get things done in the new Congress, even after Republicans won control of the chamber. In more national news, Treasury makes Trump taxes available to House committee. The Treasury Department said Wednesday it has complied with a court order to make former President Donald Trump's tax returns available to the Congressional Committee. The Supreme Court last week rejected Trump's request for an order that would have prevented the Treasury Department from giving 6 years of tax returns for Trump and some of his businesses to the democratically controlled House Ways and Means Committee. The court, without dissent, cleared the legal obstacle to disclosure of Trump's tax returns. A department spokesperson said Treasury has complied with last week's court decision, but declined to say whether the committee had access to documents. The spokesperson declined to be identified by name because of privacy constraints. In entertainment news, Christine McVie, Fleetwood Mac singer-songwriter, dies at 79. Christine McVie, the British-born Fleetwood Mac vocalist, songwriter, and keyboard player, whose cool and soulful notes help define As You Make Loving Fun, Everywhere, and Don't Stop, died on Wednesday. Her death was announced on the band's social media accounts. No cause of death or other details were immediately provided, but a family statement says she passed away peacefully at a hospital this morning, with family around her after a short illness. A few hours ago, I was told that my best friend in the whole world since the first day of 1975 had passed away, bandmate Stevie Nicks said in a handwritten note posted to Instagram. She added that one song has been swirling around in her head since she found out McVie was sick, quoting the lyrics to Hallelujah, I had a best friend, but she has come to pass. And finally, in business news, stocks rally after Fed chair signals slowdown in rate hikes. Wall Street closed out a solid November with a broad market rally Wednesday after the head of the Federal Reserve said the central bank could soon begin easing up on its aggressive interest rate increases aimed at taming inflation. Fed Chair Jerome Powell, speaking at the Brookings Institute, reaffirmed that the central bank could begin moderating its pace of rate hikes as soon as December, with its policymaking committee is due to hold its next meeting. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's on time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. Good Thursday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Words I Choose to Live By. It's easy to follow the crowd. Today, make the difficult decision to be the best you possible. It all begins right now. Have an amazing Thursday. Omegia Keeys is featured in today's Entertainment Spotlight, right here on Conversations Daily News. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with the Entertainment Spotlight. Filmmaker, actor, author, and podcast host Omegia Keeys rejoined me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about her success in the year that's been 2022. Here's a bit of our conversation. Omegia, welcome back to the program. Glad to have you.
Hey, Cyrus, as always, thank you for having me. We're down there, what is it, like 13, 15 years strong?
I know, right? Crazy. I know. But you know what? I'm so glad you said that, because I think, I don't take enough time, and I've been talking about it lately, Omegia, and you don't either. Don't take enough time to really reflect on all the things that have happened, in our professional journey. But you've had a lot going on just this one year. This is your second book to come out this year that I know of, at least. Faded Reunion. You have the film Faded Reunion. You have this new podcast, True Crime Remix. What has this experience been like for you to be able to kind of reflect on the year that's been 2022?
It has been kind of crazy. At first, I wasn't going to go hard this year, but I lost my great friend Greg Lockett, who was a big influence behind pushing me to do things. And that just put a fire up under me that I'm not waiting, I'm not holding back, I'm not doing anything. But I know people are like, well, you don't hold back anyway. But I'm like, y'all don't know the half of how much I hold back. But now I'm not.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say the same thing, Amiga, that you don't hold back.
but what y'all have seen, I was holding back.
Got you. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning into this edition of Conversation Daily News. We're back on tomorrow to wrap up this week. Until then, my host Cyrus Webb saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversation Daily News today. Now let's go make it a great one.